This is a reaction to Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, Knicks versus Pacers. The Pacers win the game 138 to 135 in overtime after Aaron Nesmith literally and figuratively turns into prime Steph Curry when he won the unanimous MVP and scores 20 points in the fourth quarter, all on threes, I feel like it was. Um, and Pacers come back down from what, 15, 16? Yeah, game one in the books. Daniel, you got anything positive to take away from this game? Anything of good note?
I don't even know where to start. To be totally honest with you, I don't even know where to start. Um, I'm trying to be as objective as I can be. The Band-Aid's not even ripped off. It's literally like a slow peel, and I'm a very hairy man, so I'm just pulling all the hairs out, and it's still bleeding. So, look, right? I think the my biggest concern with this series for the Knicks was going to be their offensive output, right? I've said that before, and the foul troubles, right? And I think offensively, you could see where we match up. I think I'm a little bit surprised how well we were able to keep up with the Pacers, but the Pacers can rip off 150 points every game very easily. I'm not surprised by it. Doesn't matter how good your defense is, Indiana just knows how to score. They just do, right? And I think if you are, if you're the Knicks, like, I think you could come away with the fact that you did have a lead late, that you did have multiple chances to win this game, and if you could just execute better in the fourth quarter. And the hardest thing to do in any playoff game, any playoff series, is close it out, right? It's the hardest thing to do. If you could come away with a similar kind of game plan of how you could beat this Indiana team, it's that they do give up a lot of points as well. That's always they're gonna play close games. They're gonna give up 150, but score will give 150, 148, right? Like, that's just how they are. Um, I thought you had big games from Brunson and Cat. You needed that. The bench was really huge. That was really positive to see. And I think, like, at the end of the day, like, it's not a blowout, and you do feel like there's still a lot of game left, and there's a lot of series left in this, and both teams will make adjustments. But I think the Knicks already have somewhat of a okay. You have confidence that you can at least score with them, which was my main concern. But now you don't really feel that anymore. As long as they're healthy, I think scoring shouldn't be an issue. I think it just comes down to late game execution, right? All these games are going to be close. No lead's going to be safe. If a blowout happens, it'll be because of an injury or a complete collapse. And I think, like, what you saw was just the Knicks just turned the ball over too much in the fourth quarter. Um, there was a lot of bad decisions, a lot of slipping, a lot of. This is the problem with Tom Thibodeau, right? This is the problem. It's been a problem for 5 years and nobody's talked about it. It's the same thing with the third quarters, right? The biggest problem that Tom Thibodeau has, and I've been saying this, and no one's been listening. Okay, the Knicks always struggle on offensive inbounds and defensive inbounds. They've always had. If you notice, they will use almost all of the 4 to 5 seconds on an inbound pass and struggle to get the ball in. And you saw in the series and down the stretch, they were struggling to get the ball in with the inbound. And they were struggling on the defensive inbound as well when they just allowed Indiana to carry the ball up or not put pressure on the ball handler or not put pressure on the inbounder and allow an easy inbound. It's been a problem. And it's starting to now. It's not that it's karma, but you could see how it's an issue. And it's the little things like that that matter in a series like this. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating because you have it right there, and I guess it is karmic in that the Knicks did to the Celtics twice, and like this is now kind of the universe putting that now on us. So I guess in that regard, it is what it is. It's a sucky feeling.
Yeah. Um, I was watching it. I was like, oh my, they're hitting big shots. You know, Indiana's not hitting theirs, and I'm like, oh gosh, 8 minutes left, right? What could go wrong, right? The offense is looking good. If they just keep hitting their
Without
shots, they'll be
without
fine.
Jalen Brunson, without Jalen Brunson, without Jalen Brunson, who was on 5 fouls.
Gosh, I mean, I just, like Tyrese Halliburton did before he realized his big toe was on the 3-point line. This was a choke job. It's a big fat choke. Because you're right, their offense looked really good. They can score with Indiana, and they did. And Indiana, right? They were kind of flat a little bit, right? Weren't hitting their shots, weren't getting any calls, and New York just came out. They came out firing and hitting their threes, big shots, big layups. And then Aaron Nesmith turned into, he put on a GTA 5 mod, God mode, and nothing could stop him from getting. I felt like he hit 7 threes in a row. Was it just me?
I think it was. I think it
Six?
was.
6 or
No, I think it was like
5?
4. I think he had 14 points in a row, though.
Oh,
I think
jeez.
that's what it was.
Oh, God. And, like, that just can't happen. Right? Like, it's uh,
But you know what the problem was with that is that you saw the whole game. The Knicks do what you always hate and that you notoriously screamed at them for:
drop coverage.
drop
Oh,
coverage,
fuck me.
playing
Yes. Oh, goodness.
hard switching. The minute I keep saying Karl Anthony Towns on Halliburton, I want to scream my eyes out. Mikal Bridges had a terrible defensive game. I'm sorry he did. He was just god awful on Halliburton. Halliburton had him on skates the whole game. The way he was flying across the ice, I swear to God, that the Rangers were playing. It, and like that's what needs to be improved, right? Mikhail cannot give Halliburton any space to work or room because he's such a great scorer, but it's his passing. He always makes the right decisions. And you saw in this game, he always made the right pass. He never turned the ball over in the fourth. His handling's really good. And Mikhail Bridges is the only guy who would have the length and the size to really match him up, right? So I think in that regard, that's where the Knicks faltered, was their lack of switching and hard switching. It was very soft switches. It was very drop coverage. They weren't fighting over screens a lot. They were going under the screens, allowing them to have the space to work. And if you go to that 2 minute stretch, Neesmith, most of his shots were wide open. It was a collapse in defensive coverages. And McHale did not put any pressure on Tyrese Halliburton at all in the fourth quarter. And look, give the Pacers credit. They did not make any mistakes. They played perfect basketball. They made their shots. And down the stretch, they made all the right plays they needed to make. That's all it takes sometimes. You know? And, if OJ Anunoby hits a freaking free throw to save his goddamn life, we're not having this conversation. But again, it's the little things that matter in these games, right? It's the little things that matter. So I mean, look, the benefit is that it's game one. Now game two becomes a must win, right? Like I think that's just the end of the story. If you're the Knicks, losing game one is devastating, but the world still, right. 34th Street still standing. you just now have to go into Friday night with we cannot lose this game. We have to take a game in the Garden. We have to win, which is kind of how it was last year when they played the Pacers. You know, this series is going to be very similar to last year. All the games are going to be close. It's going to be hard fought. And the Knicks ended up losing that game one to the Pacers last year. So it now becomes pivotal that game two now is a must win, and you have to go at least into Indiana tied,
Yeah.
right? So it's not the end of the world, but it was not a pretty game.
You know, if OG Anunoby doesn't have fucking Butterfingers on the bench before, Jalen Brunson, good pass, right? All Anunoby had to do was jump up and have the ball in his hands, and he didn't do it. That's literally all. Literally, if he makes that play and gets like a layup, we're not talking about overtime. We're not talking about Tyrese Halliburton's big ass fucking big toe. We're not talking about none of this. So it's like, yeah, just bad shit happens. And they lost. Collapse on defense, absolutely. And even with their scoring, they still couldn't get it done. So I think
Because here's the
defense going into
because,
game 2 is the priority here.
yeah. Because here's the thing with the last thing I'll say. Here's the thing with the Knicks, and they can score, but they don't have elite shot makers, right? A lot of it is also dribble. A lot of it is layups and open and creating your own shot. But Mikal Bridges and Naomi cannot hit wide open threes to save their lives, and when they matter. And that's what is probably the biggest thing that's missing right now is that Brunson can't take over a fourth quarter by himself. Somebody else needs to step up and be a hero in the series, right? Somebody the Superman cape needs to be shared.
Yeah, and it can't
And
be Cat because I don't know what it is, but like Cat's good, but I feel like when he has a mismatch, when he's getting guarded up by like Andrew Nembhard, Tyrese Halliburton, Aaron Neesmith, like I get these guys are like kind of strong, but you're 7 feet tall, you're 250 plus pounds. You should kind
you
of
move like a
bully.
god
You should kind of bully them a little bit. Just,
a
just,
little bit.
just, just, just a suggestion. I'm not 7 feet tall, 250 plus pounds, but hey, what do I know? I'm just saying, you should be able to bully them, and then, whenever they get guarded, let's say like Jalen Brunson, right? He gets the ball and he ends up with Tyrese Halliburton in the post. They're doubling the Pacers. That is, they're doubling, and New York just, I don't know what it is, but they're not there for the pass out of the double. They're not there. They're not in the correct spot. If you're Jalen Brunson and the New York Knicks, you know he's getting doubled whenever he goes into the post. Be in a fucking spot where you can be seen. Not that he has to throw the ball all the way to the other side of the fucking court. Be like at the top of the key, right? Be in the corner, right? Little shit. Why the fuck does Karl-Anthony Towns has to whip the fucking ball all the way across half court when he's getting fucking doubled in the post? It's a bullshit.
This is what I mean when it's like it's the little things the Knicks didn't do right in this game. That's why they lost,
Yeah.
right? And Indiana did all the right things. In that regard, it's not a complete disaster. It's a collapse, but it's not a disaster if you're the Knicks,
Yeah.
because that's fixable. That's adjustable. You can regroup that. So that's probably the positive takeaway, but it just fucking stings.
Yeah.
It just it just sucks.
Yeah, it's not like they were
But
outplayed. They got the better of the
No,
Pacers pretty much the entire game, except for what 9, 8, 7 minutes in the fourth quarter.
or one fucking guy decided to step up.
That's it. Like, so I guess this gives them a lot of confidence going into there. So I think if I'm Tom Tibbs, I'm preaching defense, rotations off passes on when they're getting doubled, and inbounding the ball. Those are the three things. If you just clean that up, clean it up, they beat the Pacers by 15. If they
Yeah,
clean all that up, because they've shown that they could score with Indiana. And I'm not going to lie, Indiana has some wide open looks, and they missed. By the grace of God, they missed. So, a little bit of luck has to go their way, too. So, game 2, here we come. Yay.
yep.
There we go. That's the reaction. You got anything else? Well, yeah. Well, that's gonna do it. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to the Get Back. This is me and Daniel signing off. We're going to bed really sad. Yeah. A lot of sighing, a lot of
Why
brushing
couldn't I
of
be a
hair.
fucking blacksmith or something? Something, good with my life.
Right? Why
I
couldn't I
couldn't.
be into like swords or some shit? Like why did I have to be into grown men playing a sport? Why did I have to be involved in this?
I already like movies. I could have just, kept going with that. No, I gotta sit my ass down at 8 o'clock to watch a 3-hour game where I'm fucking pacing and sweating and stress eating. That's why I'm fucking 300 pounds because of fucking Nick.
Well, thank you
Whatever.
guys. Subscribe. We're gonna be back tomorrow. Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals. Friday we'll be here. Main show. Then the Knicks reaction later that day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Goodbye. Yeah.
Good night. Goodbye. Bye.
Yeah.
We'll be here.
Bye.
Subscribe.
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
Ha. Fuck. Shit. Ah.